You've probably heard stories about people seeing things that shouldn't exist. But this isn't one of those ambiguous stories where you wonder if it was real or not. This is the documented story of Marcus Reed and what happened to him on the number 7 bus at 11 p.m. on October 15, 2019. Marcus was a regular commuter. Every night, he'd take the same route home after working the late shift at the hospital. He was a good observer, the kind of person who noticed small details. That's actually important to this story. On that particular night, Marcus got on the bus like he always did. The bus was nearly empty. Just him, the driver, and one other passenger sitting in the very back row. The woman was wearing a dark coat, and her head was turned toward the window. Marcus couldn't see her face, but there was something about her that made him uneasy. He couldn't explain why. It wasn't anything she did or said, it was just a feeling. A wrongness. Marcus sat down about 5 rows ahead of her and pulled out his phone to pass the time. The bus hummed along its usual route. He noticed the driver kept glancing in the rearview mirror. Frequently. Almost obsessively. But Marcus didn't think much of it. After about 10 minutes, something strange happened. The bus stopped at a red light, and Marcus heard the woman move. He heard her coat rustle. He heard her stand up. But when he glanced back, she was still in her seat. Or at least, he thought she was. The lighting at the back of the bus was dim. He couldn't quite see clearly. So he looked back at his phone. The bus started moving again. They were heading into the industrial part of town now. Warehouses and abandoned buildings. Fewer streetlights. Marcus had ridden this route 100 times, and he always hated this stretch. But it was the fastest way home. And then the bus driver did something strange. He took a turn that wasn't on the regular route. Marcus looked up immediately. He knew this bus route perfectly. This turn was completely wrong. They were heading down a narrow road that Marcus had never seen before, even though he'd ridden past this area countless times. But before he could process this, he heard something from the back of the bus. The woman laughed. Not a normal laugh, it was hollow. Empty. Like someone learning what a laugh was supposed to sound like, but getting it slightly wrong. Marcus felt his skin go cold. He turned around to look at her, but the back of the bus was completely dark now. The streetlights had stopped appearing entirely. It was just shadows back there. "Driver," Marcus called out. "I think you missed the turn." The driver didn't respond. He didn't even look in the mirror. He just kept driving down this impossible road that Marcus's own memory insisted didn't exist. But clearly, it did. Marcus stood up. He was going to walk to the front of the bus and confront the driver about the detour. But when he tried to move down the aisle, something stopped him. Not physically. It was something else. A presence. Like the air itself had become solid. And behind him, he heard that laugh again. The woman was standing in the aisle now. He could see her silhouette. Her coat seemed to stretch too far, too long, dragging behind her on the floor. But the worst part was her head. Her head was tilted at an angle that shouldn't have been possible. Human necks don't bend that way. "Don't look at me," she said. Her voice was exactly like the laugh, artificial. Wrong. So Marcus didn't. He turned forward again and sat back down. His heart was pounding. He could hear her breathing behind him. Quick, irregular breaths, like she was learning how to do that too. But she stopped moving. She just stood there. The bus kept driving through this road that didn't exist. Marcus watched the driver's hands on the wheel. They weren't moving. The driver wasn't actually steering. The bus was driving itself. But that couldn't be right. That made no sense. Minutes passed. Or maybe it was seconds. Time felt wrong. Marcus was trying to figure out what to do when the driver finally spoke. "You shouldn't have gotten on this bus," the driver said. His voice was the same, hollow, artificial, like a recording of a human voice rather than an actual voice. "What's happening?" Marcus asked. His own voice sounded strange to his ears, scared. "You died 3 stops ago," the driver said. Marcus couldn't process those words. "What?" "The car that hit the bus. 47 minutes ago. You were in the way. You died instantly. But you didn't know it yet. Some people take a while to understand. But eventually everyone understands." Marcus's mind flashed back to his last clear memory. He'd gotten on the bus, he remembered the doors closing, he remembered sitting down. But anything after that? It was fuzzy, dreamlike. "No," Marcus said. "No, I'm alive. I'm talking to you. I'm—" "Dead passengers talk," the woman behind him said. "They talk for a long time before they understand." "But I can feel everything," Marcus said. His hands were shaking. "I can feel fear. I can feel my heart." "You can feel memories of those things," the driver said. "The brain continues for several minutes after the body shuts down. It creates the illusion of normalcy. It keeps you calm enough that you don't panic, but it wears off." Marcus stood up. He ran for the door. He was going to jump out, run away, prove they were wrong. But when his hand touched the door, he felt nothing. He couldn't feel the metal. His hand passed through it like it wasn't there. He was running now. Screaming. Running down the bus aisle. The woman wasn't chasing him. She was just standing there, watching him. But as he ran past her, he glimpsed her face. It wasn't a face, really. It was a suggestion of a face. Features that almost made sense, but didn't quite. Eyes that were facing the wrong direction. A mouth that was too wide. Marcus reached the front of the bus and grabbed the driver's shoulder. His hand passed through him. Nothing had substance. He was grabbing at smoke. "How long?" Marcus screamed. "How long until I understand?" "You already do," the driver said. "You just don't want to." And Marcus went quiet, because he realized something. He realized that his last clear memory, the memory before everything got fuzzy, was of a terrible sound. Metal screaming, a sound of collision. He remembered a searing pain in his chest. He remembered reaching for something that he couldn't grab. He remembered everything going black. He remembered dying. The bus kept driving down the road that didn't exist, and Marcus sat down in the middle of the aisle. The woman walked over and sat next to him, but not like a person sits. She lowered herself like something was being unplugged, jerking and unnatural. She tilted her head at that impossible angle again. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now you ride," the woman said. "You ride until the next passenger gets on, and then you become like us, and you help them understand. But the understanding is the hardest part. That's what makes the fear, the moment when you know." "How many of us are there?" "We don't know," the woman said. "We only know our passengers, the ones on our bus, the ones before you, the ones after you." The bus slowed down. They were approaching a bus stop. The streetlights hadn't returned, but Marcus could see a figure waiting there in the darkness, a man in a business suit, probably on his way home from work, just like Marcus had been. The bus doors opened. The man stepped on. "Welcome," the driver said with that same artificial, hollow voice. The man smiled, oblivious. He didn't know yet. His brain was still running, still creating the illusion of normalcy, still keeping him calm. As the man walked past Marcus, Marcus saw the exact moment the fear would start to set in a few minutes, or maybe a few hours, or maybe it was already starting and the man was just too disoriented to notice yet. The bus pulled away from the stop, and somewhere ahead on the road that didn't exist, another passenger was waiting, and they would always be waiting.